button up before we actually got into the spirit of things. How you doing, Alex?
I'm pretty good, Peter. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing very well, and I'm sure that all of you, my masked hens and cocks, are doing very well yourself. Anyways, it is time to get right into it. We've got a great show for you tonight, so we are going to plunge headlong into that great world where men are men and where gods walk the earth. The great, wide world of Formula One Grand Prix racing.
Well done. Pits one, pick up rubber. Awesome job. Unbelievable. We are world champions! World champions!
Ah, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the great theme tune of Tea Time in Formula One with Alex and Peter. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. The silly season is now officially in full swing. That is when the end of the year approaches and contracts and legalese must be fulfilled and finished and finalized and all kinds of wonderful stuff done by men in very, very expensive suits in windowless office boardrooms and all kinds of wonderful things, signed with pens that are worth more than my entire body put together. Am I right?
I'm sure. That's impressive.
Indeed. So anyways, we're gonna have to start off with the sad news. Ladies and gentlemen, McLaren Honda is finally dead.
Took them long enough. Took them long enough.
Well, McLaren still hasn't announced anything to the public yet. Multiple sources are confirming that their divorce from Formula One engine supplier Honda has finally been finalized.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Actually, we gave up on you years ago, so let's cut that.
Oh, man.
So, what has happened is that McLaren will take on a 3-year engine supply deal from Renault, replacing Honda, which is set to expire when the new engine regulations come out in 2020. Now, again, this is, it took long enough for this to happen, but the thing is, there's all kinds of weird, attachments to it. McLaren will get the same engine specifications as the Renault's Works team and Red Bull. Likewise, Toro Rosso has signed a deal to take on the Honda power units.
Oh, whoa.
Well, this is where things get weird. The move comes for obvious reasons, as Sky Sports notes. Unreliable and off-pace Honda, blah 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 blah. Even Bernie Eccleston said that the car is not performing correctly. So the big question is for Carlos Sainz, whose Sky Sports and Autosport report that Sainz is going to be staying at Toro Rosso, though at the end of the season to bolster Toro Rosso's championship points. Sainz is reported to be replaced by Jolyon Palmer at Renault, as Palmer hasn't scored a single point for Renault all year. Palmer also expects that, blah, blah, blah. So it seems, so here's what's going on. So yes, McLaren is terminating their deal with Honda. However, Honda is striking a deal with, well, at least Toro Rosso is striking a deal with Renault. Presumably, the higher-ups at Red Bull have decided that they want to really make Toro Rosso the junior team, so presumably they're intentionally underpowering them. But to help pay, now as part of the payment for early termination of the Renault supply contract at Toro Rosso, Carlos Sainz Jr. goes to the Renault team.
They're selling them away.
Indeed they do, indeed they are. Anyways, so next up is, now, of course, as this is all going on, there's some weirdness going on with McLaren Honda's Twitter feed. They are posting full of lots of positive stuff, including a GIF from their animated YouTube series. And it's calling it live scenes from the MTC as excitement builds ahead of Singapore. And it's just a GIF of all these little cartoon people applauding. And lots of happy things. It's bizarre. So it's almost as if they're saying, like Kevin Bacon from Animal House going, all is well!
What a scene.
Indeed. And of course, we have some good news from Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas has been signed on for next year.
Very nice.
Just as he deserves. He was much I don't know, I think he should be winning more, but you know what? He's a good driver. He's a reliable man. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is a big one. I've been looking forward to this one for some time. This is a racetrack. Well, 2 years ago, there was a man on the track. And last year, a lizard. There were 2 gate scandals in Formula One. The juicier of the 2 happened here in Singapore.
Lizard Gate.
Indeed. And of course, this is also a place where you could drink Singapore slings all day and get knocked off your rear, but the Singapore sling on track could potentially kill you. for this is the most interesting Grand Prix in the world.
That's for sure, Peter.
I don't always watch Grand Prix racing, but when I do, I prefer Singapore. Stay speedy, my friends. I should have written that out for you.
I like that.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is a street circuit in near Marina Bay in the small city nation of Singapore. Now, of course, like I said, this is a street circuit, which means they are racing on public roads, and a partial part of it that was purpose-built for this specific occasion. And they will be racing under the lights. For even though they are racing at night, it is still 60 degrees Celsius in the cockpit, so you are roasting in
Very
that thing.
warm.
Oh, and I forgot to mention another interesting factoid about this place. The government can control the weather to improve for a good race day, and they actually have.
That's awesome. I was more along the lines of thinking about that one time that I forget which driver it was had his water cooling supply boil over.
Yes, that was Daniel Kvyat.
Oh, that was Abu Dhabi though, wasn't
No, it was here.
it? Was it?
It was here where his water cooler broke down and he was hydrating himself with boiling water.
He's screaming.
So, the race, so on the point of interesting stuff, we're going to go through the landmarks that we actually see along here. So, and one thing you will learn is Singapore is actually surprisingly anglicized. So the first thing that happens is they get off the purpose-built straight and turn hard, and they go onto Republic Boulevard, and then they will swing round onto Raffles Boulevard, where they will pass by many magnificent hotels, including, which one's this? The Pan Pacific Singapore, the Night View Millennia Singapore, and the Suntec Singapore International Convention Center. And then they will go round two sides of Memorial Park, of the War Memorial Park. And then it will also go past this tall, magnificent structure, the Raffles City Shopping Center. It's a huge, huge tower. And then it will even goes past the Funat Digital Mall and the oh God, I'm sorry, I am lost. I'm sorry, I'm so excited for this place that I'm completely got my geography mixed up. Yeah, sorry. And then they will get onto St. Andrews to pass by the National Art Gallery. And then, I mean, like I said, this track goes by many, many magnificent locales. Like you are literally going on a history of Singapore, including going behind the bleachers of the floating stadium.
The what?
It is a floating stadium.
For what?
Soccer from the looks of it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the bleachers are on dry land, but the actual soccer pitch is on the water, floating on a barge tied to the actual
That's intense.
plant mass. This place is absolutely
I
magnificent.
feel like I'd
love
be
this place.
distracted playing soccer there.
So, and of course, as interesting as the track itself is, we must not forget that the racing itself is something else. For instance, let us take a journey through all the weird and interesting things that have happened on the Singapore racetrack. We go all the way back to 2008, where Felipe Massa went into the pits. Now, this was the days when they still had refueling, and Felipe Massa exited the Ferrari pits with a fuel hose still attached to his car. He just ripped the whole thing off.
So you say back when they had refueling, what do they do now? Do they only have
They
a
don't.
set amount of fuel
One
for
tank,
the race?
just
Wow.
one tank.
I guess those V6 twin turbos are
Indeed.
efficient.
And 2008 was also the year of when I mentioned to you that there were two gate scandals. You know, gate as in, first there was
yeah, I know.
Watergate, then Benghazi Gate, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Well, here in Formula One they had Spygate, which is a very dull story about a man giving secrets to another team disguised as job interviews. But this is home of Crashgate. The mastermind behind it was an absolutely magnificent specimen of a man named Flavio Briatore.
He looks intense.
Yes, indeed he does. He is sitting in his expensive Italian suit with a gold watch peeking out and well-groomed hair. But then again, that's an old picture.
Oh, yeah, he's got the dad bod going
Yes,
now.
he does. He has a dad bod, and he is currently, and like I said, this man is absolutely kind of admirable almost. So yes, he was he was the principal of the Renault Formula One team in 2008. He was briefly married to Heidi Klum.
Was that the woman in the picture?
No, the woman that we had in the picture of with Flavio Briatore rocking the dad bod on the beach is Wonder Bra model Elisabetta Gregoracci. And when the two of them got married, the wedding car driver was Fernando Alonso.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, this guy sounds like the most interesting man in the world.
Close to it, but then
Pretty close.
he masterminded Crashgate. So it was 2008, and
This is the last year of the V8s, right?
No. The last year of the V8s was 2012.
Okay,
more like. But this was the year. Actually, this may have been close to the last year of the V10s. But what happened was, Renault was not doing too well. Their drivers were Fernando Alonso and Nelson Piquet Jr. If you watch NASCAR, you may know him because, well, this is the story that led to his exile to NASCAR.
Oh, man.
What happened was the team was not doing too well. And then, at one point, Nelson Piquet spun his car around one corner. Close tap with the wall, but he didn't actually damage the car. And then Fernando Alonso pitted in the car, including a refueling. And then he went in and out of the pits. Not too much drama. Until eventually, Nelson Piquet Jr. spun around at the exact same place and smashed the wall. This prompted a safety car to come out. And through a long series of events, like lots of bad strategy on part of the other teams, Fernando Alonso won the Singapore Grand Prix. Well, it turned out it was all staged. What happened was...
So like WWE here.
Kind of, but more nefarious.
All right, let's
They
hear
were
it.
the only ones who were doing the staging. What happened was
What?
Nelson Piquet Jr.'s career was in trouble. But then he was told, Nelson, you have to crash in this race. You crash, you drive.
Oh.
And he did just so. And then, of course, that manipulated a very series of events which led to Fernando Alonso winning. And then he was signed on, and then Nelson Piquet Jr. was signed on for the next year. And then the following year, he did really badly, and then Renault said, okay, that's it, you're gone. And then Nelson Piquet Jr. squealed, saying, they told me to crash. And then Flavio Briatore and technical director Pat Simmons were both banned for life from Formula One. And then years later, maybe a few years, maybe 2013, for some reason Flavio Briatore was floated to come back in to help reinvigorate energy into sport despite a dwindling popularity. And then we go to 2010, where what happened? Where Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel had the absolutely closest finish to the Singapore Grand Prix, but it was also when Finnish driver Heikki Kovalainen for Lotus, not the Lotus that we know, this is Caterham before Lotus proper came back in because they were paying to use the name Lotus.
What year is this?
This is 2010.
2010.
Where Heikki Kovalainen's car just spontaneously burst into flames. He was fine. He just clambered out of the car, and he got the fire extinguisher and put his own car fire out.
That's what I call British engineering.
Indeed, indeed. Well, strictly speaking, they were owned by a Malaysian conglomerate,
Really?
but yes.
I thought both Caterham and Lotus.
No. What happened was you had, I forget the man's name, but he was a Malaysian bazillionaire who wanted Lotus to come back into the sport. So he started a team. He may have bought a previous one out. Don't remember who it was. Painted the cars green with a little slab of yellow. And he says, I want to be the Lotus team. But then Lotus, who was an actual entity and who actually had their factory works team in the 70s and 80s, said, okay, fine, you can call yourself Lotus, but you're going to have to pay us a royalty fee on it. And he did. Until, next thing you know, Lotus decides, okay, you know what? We are going to take our name back and we're going to start a team again. They did that, and so this man who said, okay, fine, we will take the name of Caterham, who manufacture kit cars based on the original Lotus 7. And then they folded. Yeah, and then they folded a few years later.
That's a mess.
2012 was a very interesting year. That was where Felipe Massa passed Bruno Senna while he was sliding. So, yeah, I mean, it was absolutely astounding. What happened was, I believe it was a Williams that Senna was driving, while Felipe Massa was driving a Ferrari. And then he... Oh, come on, where is the actual clip? I thought I had it prepped. This should be it. Oh, I guess we started in the middle of... Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I'm very lost as to what's happening. Oh, yeah, here we go. Sorry. And what happened was, Felipe Massa actually undercut and passed the man ahead of him when this car was sliding. So it was his lap 43.61. Felipe Massa is coming up behind the Williams of Bruno Senna. He goes through the Singapore Sling chicane, and then he comes hard left, and then he's going to follow into the right. So like I said, things are getting precarious, and he's really close. There's no downforce whatsoever. He's about to squeeze in on the inside, but his car slides, it wobbles, and he still passes and makes the pass stick.
That's insane. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
And then of course, at that same race, Michael Schumacher, who was driving for Mercedes at the time, completely rear-ended and obliterated the car of Jean-Eric Verne.
Schumacher's not still racing right now, is
No,
he?
he's the last I heard, he's still unconscious in the hospital after a skiing accident.
Oh, that's
2
right.
years ago or so. He's been in there for a while.
Wow, still unconscious?
Yes, still
Oh.
unconscious, unfortunately. And then 2013, what's happened there? Well, it turns out that in Singapore, hitchhiking is kind of legal, but the best way to do it is in Formula One. Mark Webber's car broke down, and then after the race ended, Fernando Alonso stopped his Ferrari, and then Mark Webber stepped in to his car and he rode the side air intake all the way back to the pits.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
And of course, 2013 was also the year that Sebastian Vettel decided to kick off his musical career.
Lasciatemi guidare, perché sono lento. Lasciatemi guidare, una gara bella.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
and
man.
then,
He's a funny guy.
and then of course, 2015. Well, the words speak for themselves.
Down there, or debris down there, or what, I wonder, is the problem?
There's a fan on the track. There's a fan on the track.
What is this?
There is a man on the track. Literally, he's just walking. He's just chilling. I mean, he's just it's like he came out of the barrier, unaware that this empty street was actually converted to a racetrack. And he's just walking along the side, on the
I
inside.
don't know the story behind that, what he was up to.
And then, of course, the following year, we had Max Verstappen with his ever immortal.
Oh, there's a giant lizard on the track. Yeah, I'm not joking. Out of turn 3. Face to face with Godzilla then, mate.
Yes.
There's just a big old lizard just on the
It looked
racetrack.
like a baby Komodo dragon
It did.
almost. And then, so anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the most interesting Grand Prix in the world. Now let's get serious. It is time to dive into this track because we are going to be racing there this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the Marina Bay Circuit is a magnificent, tight-knit circuit of a mind-bending 23 corners. Held its first Grand Prix in 2008. It's going to be 61 laps of 5 kilometers each for a total race distance of 308 kilometers. Now the track has undergone some changes over these years since 2008. For instance, the infamous Singapore Sling Chicane, which sent many drivers airborne because of how treacherous it was. And then they flattened the chicane, and then they got rid of it entirely. And then, of course, recently, they actually shifted one part of the track to the opposite lane of the road. So therefore, the lap record was set only last year by Daniel Ricciardo, a time of 1:47.18. So if we can just quickly go through it, in the original circuit from 2008 to 2012, the record was held by Kimi Räikkönen at a time of 1:45.599. And then the revised circuit, where they removed the Singapore Sling Chicane from 2013 to 14, the record was held by Sebastian Vettel for Red Bull Renault in 2013.
Nice try.
Sorry. And now the track as this exists today is held by Daniel Ricciardo, as we have previously mentioned. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go on board this huge, magnificent track with none other than last year's pole sitter, Nico Rosberg. And brace yourselves, because this thing is truly mind-bending. Oh, come on.
Refresh.
Yes, refreshing the damn page. We go on board with Nico Rosberg. He's coming up on the first main straight, and he is riding at 300 kilometers per hour, 8th gear, but he's going to break down hard into the first corner. A mind-bending chicane left, scrape on the left, scrape on the right, and now a hard hook left. He gets back on the power. In the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th gear, 258 kilometers per hour. The road bends right, but he gets down hard on the brakes for a sharp right-hander. And he gets back on the power yet again. This is a decent overtaking opportunity. It's a long straight. The track bends rightward slightly. He's at 300 kilometers per hour. He breaks all the way down to 120 for a quick, sharp left-hander. And then he's going to line it back up again, go all the way down to 80 for a sharp right-hander. It almost doubles back on itself, near borderline hairpin. But he swerves around to enter a left double turn complex. Gets right back on the power, 270 kilometers per hour. And then he's going to break down hard for left to 130 kilometers per hour. And this track gets really, really weird and twisty. So it just kinked left, but then it went hard right. And it right, oh god, this is going too fast. Right, and now he's going left again on the power. Now that was very slow at 90 kilometers per hour. He's on the power again, 200, 250, 260. A slight kink right, And now he breaks down hard to 100 kilometers per hour for a really, really tight right-hander. Gets back on the power yet again, and oh my god, this is nauseating. A slight kink left, and then a open right-hander, which feeds almost instantly into a left-hander. Back on the power yet again, and now he's going to turn hard left under the bridge where all the crashes tend to happen, and that goes into an instant right-hander. Back on the power again into another hard right-hander, and then into a hard lefter. Well, actually, it's a fairly easy left-hander, but you got to be gentle on there. He then passes the pit lane for a double left-hand apex, and that was a lap of Singapore, a time of 1:42.58.
So you've got no downforce there.
No, this is a high downforce track.
Really?
Yes, it is. It's a high downforce track because you're going through those corners. But then again, the high downforce means that your steering radius is going to be severely hurt. Like, it gets much harder. It's going to be...
There we go.
Yeah, the reason why all the crashes happen on the bridge is because it's a really tight right-hander. And, of course, because you have so much downforce, you're going to be prone to oversteering. No, understeering. You know, that is when you turn the steering wheel and the wheels cock out.
It's not going to do enough for you.
Exactly. And the wheels cock out to the point where you just end up plowing with your wheels. So as we go into this weekend, we have Lewis Hamilton, who leads the championship with 238 points. Sebastian Vettel follows by a mere 3 points behind, 235. Followed by Valtteri Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Verstappen, Perez, Ocon, Sainz, and Hülkenberg. And then, of course, I think Mercedes are almost... Whoa, wait a minute. Oh, no, that's the driver's standing list. That's not what I'm after. Whoops. But then, and then in the constructors, I think Mercedes are close to clinching it. 435 points in the constructors, followed by Ferrari's 373. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a fierce, fierce wind down of the Formula One World Championship. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Singapore. But, you know what is going to be more interesting?
Tell me.
Doing the big quiz.
Oh, it's big quiz time.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Big quiz time. So, I have given my good friend the laptop, where he will quiz me on my knowledge of the Singapore Grand Prix. Just hold the thing on your lap.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, just...
Alrighty, Cakes. Let's see.
Let's do this.
Alright.
So, it is time to begin the Formula One big quiz. And once he scrolls down, actually press the start button.
So this year sees Singapore host its 10th Grand Prix. But how well does your knowledge stretch over the previous 9? It's time to get quizzical. Let's start.
Okay.
Oh, so the safety car has been deployed in every single Singapore Grand Prix to date. True or false?
True. Because it's a really tight track.
You're correct. There have been 14 deployments in 9 races.
Good God.
All right, only one driver has led more than 200 laps in Singapore. Who is it? Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, or Nico Rosberg?
I'm going to say Sebastian Vettel. Oh, and I should mention that usually the grid girls wear the uniforms of Singapore Airways, which are these very, very tasteful traditional dresses. Don't you agree?
I do agree.
All right, Sebastian Vettel.
You are correct.
Yes.
The German led laps in 5 consecutive races at Marina Bay from 2011 to 2015. You do know this track pretty well.
Yes, I do.
All right, so in what year were Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso reprimanded for this post-race taxi ride? I know you know the answer to
2013. We just did it, and I have my cheat sheet here, but I did not look at it. I swear I did not look at my cheat sheet, which is on the table.
Oh, yes. Alonso stopped at the turn 7 to pick up Webber, who had retired on the final lap of the race. All right, so who was on pole for the inaugural race in Singapore at 2008? Was it Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Felipe Massa, or Kimi Räikkönen?
I'm going to say... Massa. I'm going to say Massa.
All right, let's see. You are correct. Felipe Massa was on the pole ahead of the title rival Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari teammate Kimi Räikkönen. None of them would win the race. Oh, man. So, in 9 races at Marina Bay, no team has scored a 1-2.
That is a...
What is a 1-2? Oh,
both cars finished in the top. So, like, it was a Mercedes, a Ferrari. I'm going to say false. I don't think that is the case. This track is perilous.
It was true. Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes have all had double podiums in Singapore, but never
1-2s.
1-2s.
Oh, okay. That was a poorly parsed question.
It was. I was a little confused. All right.
Oh.
Who is the blanked out driver in this picture, which you unfortunately cannot see, sharing the podium with race winner Lewis Hamilton and 3rd place Fernando Alonso in 2009?
Okay. Well, we have a Fernando Alonso who looks like he's wearing he's wearing his Renault jersey.
I'm
gonna say Robert Kubica.
All right. You are
Timo
Incorrect.
Glock.
But most people did guess Robert Kubica.
Well, more people than guessed Kubica than the correct answer, Timo Glock.
So hey, you had the right thinking. All right, so it's the Germans' third and final F1 podium.
For Toyota, from the looks of it.
Which driver was eliminated in a start line shunt in last year's Singapore Grand Prix?
Oh God, I should know this.
I think I actually remember this.
Well, I can see the picture. If there's a I'm gonna.
I remember this.
It might be. I'm gonna guess Massa. I think. What was that?
Was it Ocon?
No, Hulkenberg.
You were right. It was
Yes,
Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg. Yes.
So you did get that one right. I just clicked the wrong one at the last second. All right. So in what year was Heikki Kovalainen?
Hey, if you love the Finnish drivers, you need to speak Finnish. Heikki
Heikki
Kovalainen.
Kovalainen, yeah.
Good man.
Forced to make a quick exit when his car caught fire coming onto the Marina Bay pit street.
I believe we just said that was 2010.
I think you are correct. You are correct.
Yes. The Finn bravely turned firefighter after he popped out, quickly extinguishing the blaze.
Nice. All right. So which team has recorded the most podium finishes in Singapore? I think you might know this.
Actually, I don't. I'm gonna say Ferrari.
I might agree with you. It's Red Bull.
Oh,
The Milton Keynes
good man. That was good.
team have 10, 5 more than the closest challengers, Ferrari. The most recent came from last year through Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, yes. All right, then. Good.
So the last question is, which of these musical arts has not appeared in one of the race supporting concerts in Singapore? Pharrell Williams, Beyonce, Katy Perry, or Taylor Swift? I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift was there last year, right? Pharrell Williams was there, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm sure Beyonce would probably have been there. I remember Katy Perry was actually on the grid. I'm going to say Taylor Swift because she's in Texas.
You might be right. I want to say it's Beyonce, but here, it's Taylor Swift, you're going to say?
Taylor Swift is my final
You
answer.
are correct.
Yes!
But Swift did perform her biggest hit to a sold-out audience at last year's, you're right, the United States Grand Prix in Austin, Texas.
Oh my God, this is the best result we've ever had.
So just add 1 to the final result. So you have 7 out of 10.
6
Not
out of
bad.
10.
No, but you have 7 out of 10 because remember you got the one correct. I just clicked the wrong one.
No, yes. Oh, yes, you are correct.
There we go. So
Yes.
7 out of 10. That's the best one so far.
Yeah,
Here's
baby.
your computer back.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that concludes that. We got through that a lot faster than I thought we
We
would. I thought
really did. We blew through that.
I thought we would be spending more time with Flavio Briatore. In all
But
honesty,
we were very efficient.
indeed we were. So, like I said, Flavio Briatore, he's a very handsome man.
Yes, he is.
And now he's rocking the dad bod.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, he's living the life right now.
Yes.
What's he up to?
Well, I'm not sure what he's up to at the moment.
He's chilling on the beach with a girl. So
Well,
that's a good thing to be doing.
that is his wife, Wonderbra model Elisabetta Gregoracci.
Good for him.
How the hell do you do that? I don't. Yeah,
Hey,
money,
man,
money.
Love
presumably.
works in mysterious ways.
Indeed.
So does money.
Yeah,
be
I'm not
either.
sure what he's doing at the moment. I believe he's. Let me see. Well, he's he owns the Queens Park Rangers Football Club. I know
Ooh.
that much.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, other bits of news out there. Oh, have you heard about Kaspersky?
What about Kaspersky? Tell me about it.
Well, apparently the federal government has announced that they want the software purged from all government computers.
They want it off or on?
Off.
Why?
Russian hacking.
Oh, are you kidding me? The software that is that the one that Best Buy gives out? I believe so.
Well, I'm not sure which one it is. I mean, I was sold a copy of WebRoot at one point.
WebRoot is what Best Buy does give out. You're correct.
And the distressing thing is that Kaspersky also sponsor Ferrari.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so that is that gone. It's time to go onto the internet to see if I can find any kind of news. So Jalopnik.
I know you're not a fan of the Japanese imports, but this is a beautiful looking Nissan.
Okay, yeah, that's a great. Oh, okay, fair enough, I guess. And let's see, sheriffs. Oh, for heaven's sakes, we do not want to get that overtly political on there. What's that noise?
It's a commercial. You know, that's what I get for unblocking ads. Ad blocker back on.
Yes, indeed. Well, honestly, I have no idea what else you can talk about here. Well, oh, I know, my new camera.
Yes, your beautiful Canon
M5. Yes. So it is the same 24 megapixel sensor that they put
That's
in my
insane.
80D. And now it uses the Canon M mount, and there are 7 lenses out there. You know, there's your basic 18 to 55, your 55 to 200, and they also have an 18 to 150 That is what they say is a good carry-around lens. And
18 to 150.
yes, yes. But they say that the two best lenses is a pancake 22mm f1.8 f2 lens. And they say that the the image quality from that is almost equal to Zeiss.
I can't imagine how funny that would look on that little body.
Well, I mean, like, no, it's completely flat almost. You can actually put this thing in your pocket if you so desired.
Oh my goodness.
So like, and of course they also have a 28mm a 28mm lens with macro ability, and the ring light is built right into the body.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Now the thing about this is that I have this camera and I also have the adapter, so you can use any Canon EF lens. And
there are many of them out there.
Yes, I've experimented. Yes, I also have with me my dad's a 30mm Sigma lens. It's a bit heavy, but it's really lovely and compact.
Oh yeah.
And of course, on this camera, we also have it actually has a built-in time-lapse feature where it will take your pictures and output in MP4, I believe.
Peter showed me this, and it was really elegant. It looked very proper, very good. It looked professional. It looked like it's something you'd see on a not just like a crappy commercial, a good commercial.
Indeed. So so yes, I believe at some point I will set it up and just monitor life on the campus somewhere, just anywhere where there's decent traffic and see people coming by, and I'll also set up for a cloudscape thing. Yeah. So what else is happening in the great wide world? Boy, we really should have done more preparation for this. We were not expecting to get through so quickly.
I thought it would take longer to get
As
through
did
all of
I.
that. There was quite a bit of material we covered in that short amount of time. Hey,
Indeed,
you know
indeed.
what? That's what being efficient's all about.
Well, yes, I guess so. Oh, I know. Here's something we can talk about for a while. James Franco has a new movie coming out.
Oh goodness, what is it?
The Disaster Artist.
Disaster Artist?
Have you ever heard of Tommy Wiseau?
No.
And The Room?
No.
Okay, you are in for a treat. Now, The Room is a movie. A really, really bad movie. Written, directed, and starring a crazy man named Tommy Wiseau with the weirdest Eastern European accent. Nobody can actually track down where he's from. Nobody knows where he's actually from.
Oh my goodness.
And he was desperate to be a Hollywood star until he basically decided to assemble a film crew and make his own movie that he called The Room.
How did that go again?
Terribly. Here's the thing. First of all, the man was a mess himself, and he knew nothing about actually making a movie. So first thing he did was he bought the cameras. You don't buy cameras.
Yeah, don't you rent or something?
You rent them. But here's the thing. He did not understand the concept of format. He did not appreciate the difference between film and digital. So what did he do? He bought both. And you actually see in the trailer for The Disaster Artist where the DP is played by Seth Rogen. And there is a brief moment where you can see this massive film camera and a digital camera on the same tripod mount. And so what ended up happening is they were basically making two movies simultaneously. They had a film and all the necessary lighting setups for film and digital. And of course, he also built sets. He needed an alleyway. They built an alleyway in the studio. In fact, they make a point about this in the Disaster Artist, where Seth Rogen says, "This is a really good set. It looks just like the alleyway outside." I know, right? Then why don't we just film out there with the alleyway? He says, "This is a real Hollywood movie." I mean, like I said, this
Disaster Artist movie is covering the filming and making of this movie, The Room?
That's correct. With James Franco playing the titular role of Tommy Wiseau. You know what? Screw it. We're just going to get the audio for the trailer playing for everybody out there, because this is absolutely hilarious.
It got a 32 on Rotten Tomatoes, the original The Room.
I actually saw the whole thing, but via Riff Tracks, and it was significantly more tolerable. I don't think I could have possibly watched it any way else. All right, so we are going to begin. Now, bear in mind, this crazy accent you're about to hear, nobody knows where it's actually from, but this is James Franco, who's actually doing a disturbingly good job of depicting Tommy Wiseau. Here we go.
Los Angeles, everybody wants to be star. You have to be the best and never give up.
When I get up on stage in front of people, all I can think about is, what if they laugh at me? You, man, you're fearless. I want to feel that too.
I don't care. I'll do it.
And he's just on stage screaming.
We have this dream.
Yeah, I guess we do.
And we'll be famous. We'll show them. Watch out, here we come. To be or not to be.
It's not going to happen for you. Not in a million years.
But after that, this town, Greg, they don't want me.
Wish we could just make our own movie.
That great idea.
Oh,
So there's
man.
this guy, Johnny, a true American hero, to be played by me. He has it all. Good luck, many friends, and also maybe Johnny is vampire. We'll see.
That was cut.
This set of the alleyway looks exactly like the real alleyway.
That's right.
Well, why don't we just shoot in the real alleyway?
Because it's a real Hollywood movie.
No, yeah, sounds good.
Okay, action. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
But it doesn't work if you're looking at the camera.
And then this beautiful girl. Anything for my princess. She betrayed him. And then this guy, Johnny. He go crazy. Nobody respect my vision. You are a villain. I do this whole movie for you, Greg. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
And here he is spazzing out with the dress.
Why you cut, Sandy? This is great. This is real acting.
If you're gonna writhe around with the dress, maybe do it before you shoot yourself in the head and blow your brains out.
I disagree.
You're really gonna make this thing?
We are going to go together.
Oh, I want to see this now.
This is not necessary.
No, very necessary. I need to show my ass to sell this movie.
I think you're aiming a little bit.
I am what I am. Just do the scene.
Why is he having sex with her belly button? He knows where her vagina is, right?
Hi, doggy.
So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a movie that'll come out and it's gonna win all the Oscars.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that.
I mean, so like I said, the production was fraught because A, he rarely showed up on time. He was filming with both digital and film simultaneously. Nobody does that. He bought the equipment, and then he built sets out of it. So he did this in the most financially inefficient way, but money just seemed to keep coming.
Yeah, from where though?
So, well, he claims by importing leather jackets from Korea.
This guy sounds like a real mystery man, huh?
Yeah, and here's the thing: like the co-star, he wrote the book The Disaster Artist because this movie gained a cult following, and then the co-star wrote a book about his experience making it, and this movie is based on that book, The
That's
Disaster
very cool.
Artist.
I like the idea of that.
I mean, like I said, this man is nuts, and this movie I'm not usually a fan of James Franco and Seth Rogen together, but I don't know, this looks great.
So this is something I find funny. It was in theaters on June 27th, 2003, and didn't come out on DVD until December of 2005. That's a long gap.
Indeed,
It's a very long gap.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see this movie, I would highly recommend you get the riff tracks with it, because the
My roommate thinks those are hilarious.
yes, I mean they genuinely are. I have several, but like I said, I've seen the riff tracks live of this at the Promenade during their Fathom Events stream, and like I said, it was absolutely hilarious. I mean, honestly, if you can't people enjoy watching The Room because of how bad it is. But I just couldn't. Like, it's not even so bad it's good. It's just bad, I found.
Here's the thing, though. I've liked some really bad movies. I liked Tusk. You ever seen Tusk?
Oh, wait. Is that the Kevin James thing
Yeah,
where...
yeah.
No, to Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, where
a man is being
guy
turned into a walrus
Oh,
surgically.
man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
that was really weird, but
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was really... it wasn't that good, but I
Yeah.
liked it. And Rubber. Rubber was fantastic.
I don't know that one.
It's just about a tire that blows people up. It rolls around and makes people explode.
Was this from the 80s?
No, this is like modern. It's on Netflix.
Oh, for heaven's
And at
sake.
the end of the movie, they finally kill the tire. I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil the ending for everyone.
How do they kill the tire?
I forget. I think they tie a bunch of like TNT to it or something like that. It reincarnates as a tricycle and keeps on doing dirty deeds.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
Yeah, don't watch it.
yeah, no way. There's no way I'm going to do that.
But if you do have like an hour and a half to waste on something bad or a movie to just criticize, I mean, it's hard to criticize it because there's some good angles on it. Like, there's some good filmmaking in general. However, it's not good.
Anyways, the point about how Johnny is a vampire, that actually got cut. Like, there was all kind of, I believe the story is that he wanted the main man, Johnny, to be a vampire, but upon being told that he couldn't get his Mercedes to fly, he abandoned the idea.
Oh, my goodness.
So, and thing is that when you watch it, you realize it's just a bad soap opera in terms of plot. Like, you have Tommy Wiseau playing the titular Johnny. He's about to get married, and the lady in question is having an affair with his best friend. I forget his name. But like I said, it's just a bad soap opera overall.
Everything wrong with The Room.
Yes,
in 8 minutes or less.
yes, exactly. So if you want to see it at all, like, that's probably a good way to do it, because it's just so bizarre. Well, okay.
You can buy the Room on Blu-ray.
What? That movie has a Blu-ray distribution.
The Room. Can you really trust anyone? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I believe that he said the reason it's called The Room is because he wants to instill a sense of security. Like, make people feel comfortable, but then take the rug out from under them. I mean...
The Room. The best, worst movie ever made.
Oh, well, okay. We're 6:40. We only have 5 minutes before the deadline, so I guess we'll just cut it off here.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, as we begin this weekend... Get the key music up, please.
Yeah, I got it.
As we go into this weekend, where lots of brave men will plunge headlong through a tunnel of light, they will ask themselves the very fundamental question. What is love? That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in next week, and we will have updates for you on Singapore and most likely Malaysia. I can't be bothered to look at the calendar at the moment. In the meantime, here's Hadaway's What is Love, followed by whatever's on the playlist. See ya.
Good night.